Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the State of the Church podcast here for Harvest Bible Chapel, North Iowa. I'm here with Pastor Terry. Good morning, Pastor Terry. What's going on? It is a very brisk morning out as we record this. The past week it's been like negative temperatures that feel like up to negative 35 degrees.
Yeah.
And I may have even made the joke on Sunday. I was like, why do I live where the air hurts my face?
Yeah.
And that thought
saw that.
consistently goes through my mind. Since living here in North Iowa.
Yeah, but I've actually, after the last week or so, I've passed the limit. So I went from stocking cap, gloves, coat, hoodie, shirts on underneath to yesterday I was out in a hoodie, my ball cap, no gloves, no stocking cap. Didn't really even have a coat on. I had like a vest on.
So what you're saying is you're Canadian?
I'm just saying I think my blood has gotten thicker. And now I'm just used to the cold.
I got you.
It wasn't even that bad, honestly.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
I've not had the desire to leave my house the past 2 weeks, but I have done so, obviously. But the desire has not been there due to the cold. But man, despite the cold, God has been doing some really beautiful things in our house, and we get to talk together and fill our church family in on all that God's been doing. But let's first start with what God's been doing in your heart. What's He been doing in your life, in your family's life? Let's talk about the heart of the pastor right now.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been, of course, pretty focused on beginning of the year stuff, including, what we're doing with the preaching schedule and stuff, my preaching schedule is usually a year out, and it's typically done in November. But it's been a little slower coming this year, so I typically go away for a couple of days and, get my whole preaching schedule done at once. And it might adapt throughout the year a little bit, but it's usually set out. And so the two times that I scheduled to go get away to do that, we both had somebody in the church ended up with a medical emergency, and so I ended up canceling my time there. And so I've been super focused on our theme for the year, which is revival. And so combined with kind of my own personal study where I've been going through Proverbs again, I love the book of Proverbs. I think Proverbs is, it's one of those you can pick a chapter a day and you get a whole month worth of devotion there. And so I was reflecting back on how in the book of Proverbs, Solomon makes it seem like those who are wise will always live a charmed life. And I bet we all probably know some people in our lives who are for sure would fall into the wisdom book, but don't necessarily, it's things don't always go our way, right? And so the book of Proverbs is a book of probabilities, right? Like if you do this, then most likely these are the results that will come from that. And so as Solomon is writing in there, it's not that things will always go perfect, but it's that when we seek wisdom, we definitely have blessings that come from that, and especially our ability to be able to handle the things that come at us. And so sometimes I'm just foolish, right? And so I may be struggling with something because I'm foolish, but sometimes the struggles that we get are opportunities for us to grow. In fact, I think the people that you would talk to that you might think are the wisest are probably those that would say, I've just learned some things in life. I've gone through some things, experienced some things, and so those are the opportunities for us. And I think as those who hopefully all have a heart for wisdom and to be wise, one of the wisest things we can do is just ask God, like, why? If we're going through something that's a struggle or things aren't, clicking the way they should be right now, why? And I don't mean like, why, God? Why is this happening to me? I mean like, no, really, like, why? So is what I'm going through right now a product of my own sin, right? Or a lack of wisdom? Maybe it's just a bad attitude and bad thinking that I have, which a bad attitude can be sin also. So. Or is it just an opportunity for me to learn? And the reality is all things are always an opportunity for us to grow. And so when we're going through things, we should always be, trying to make the best of those opportunities. So don't waste it. If you're walking through something that's a struggle, don't waste it. And
I've heard that many times from many pastor friends when I've gone through things. And this is stuff that I for sure feel very passionate about, because I feel like I'm one of those people who always had to learn the lesson the hard way in life. Maybe not always, but a lot of times, right? But one of the things I've also learned, and maybe kind of piggybacking off of that, was wherever you go, like you find yourself in the Holy Spirit. Right. And so you can try to like run away from like a lesson, but God's still going to find you and meet you where you're at, and you're still going to have to confront whatever it is that the Lord wants to talk about.
Right.
Right. And so there's a lot of times where, the Lord's just like, hey, we're gonna adjust this posture in your heart or this thing in your heart, and we're not gonna, I think you have even talked about it sometimes in some of your sermons or devotionals about like the idea of like, video games, like you have to like beat the boss before you can move on to the next level or something, right? So I like to kind of use that analogy too in some aspects of like, okay, like you can't, God's got something that he wants to work out with you before like he can really like bring you into something else, right? And so oftentimes we tend to kind of like run away from that. And so sometimes that could be connected to like an attitude thing like you're talking about. Right. That could be connected to, or it could just be something in us that like the Lord's like, hey, like this is getting between you and I in our relationship. Let's discuss. Yeah. And so this ties into the conversation I have with my worship team a lot is like, what's one aspect of your character that God's trying to teach you? What's one aspect of his character that he's showing you this week, Yeah. And so I love that this is stuff that like, it's coming out of your heart this season as we start a new year and go into revival, right? Because like ultimately, like revival is like it starts with you. Like I like the way that Bob Dodge mentioned it recently. Like he said, like draw a circle, right, and then like put yourself in the circle, and that's where revival starts. Right. And so like similarly, like like. How do we bring revival to our attitude and our heart postures and our relationship with the Lord? So anyway, I went on a rabbit trail, but
no, that's great. I mean, it all takes intentionality, and you keep saying, it's with the Lord, and it's with the Lord, and we got to remember that, right? So, Proverbs also says the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Right? Like, so if we're going through, we're always going through something. So we should always be seeking after the Lord as what's he teaching us? What are we learning? Where should we grow? Right? And all of that. Right. Charles Spurgeon, and I'm going to roughly quote him, said, we can't all be preachers. We can't all be teachers. We can't all be leaders, but we can all be pleaders. And so the idea is all of us can pray, right? We all get the opportunity to speak with God. And so as we're, walking through life, constantly walking with the Lord and seeking him for wisdom. And so
that's it.
So important. So
I love it. Thanks for sharing your heart this morning and giving us some insight to what the Lord's been transforming and doing in your heart and mind. With that, let's just go ahead and dive into all the stuff that we got to talk about today in regards to church rhythms right now. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. First thing that we have on the list to talk about is the Faith Night that's coming up on February 5th. You have some more information that you care to share around that? I don't personally have a ton of information around that.
Yeah, the Faith Night, well, first of all, I'm a little nervous because it seems like there's not a lot to talk about. There's not a lot that we have coming up. Okay. And I know that's always never the case.
It's never the case.
And so it makes me think, okay, what am I missing and what's going to explode here coming up here pretty quick?
Oh, boy.
I hope everybody comes out for Faith Night. This is going to be a fun night. It's Thursday, February 5th. It's at the ice rink in Mason City at the mall. It's with the North Iowa Bulls. It's a night of that's going to be Christ-centered. There'll be some prayer involved, and we'll get to watch some hockey. I wonder if there'll still be fights. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do actually like that part of hockey, but can you have that on
Scripture
Faith Night?
talks about lifting holy hands. We might be able to throw holy hands. I don't know. So don't quote me on that.
Yeah. I don't remember that one, but I cut the other part.
Right.
Anyway, I think it's going to be a blast. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be a great environment. It's a great way to support the community.
February 5th. Right. It's a $5 charge. To get in, really want to encourage folks to come out. So if you're available that night, come on out.
$5 through us. I'm not sure what it'll be at the door, but so let us know. Get signed up. We can get the tickets that way. So
great.
$5.
Good clarity
through us. Yeah.
Coming up after that on March 1st. We have the family chat, so mark your calendars for March 1st for our next family chat. We'll be talking about the budget for this year, as well as some other life rhythms here in the house. So make a plan to be a part of that. Let me just make one other point about the family chats. As a pastor here, as somebody who's also been a part of harvests in general for a long time, family chat is an important part of stewardship for our house. Like, this isn't just something where, like, I like to kind of say this a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
But it's so boring.
I know. It's not just a bunch of old men standing on the stage giving
Wait a minute.
financial report, right? This is part of how we get to steward the house together. And so I want to encourage you as one of your pastors to come and be a part of this. This is an important rhythm for us here as a church. And so March 1st, right after the service, make a point of coming and joining us for the family chat. After that, we have the Ignite Youth Conference. I don't have a date here. Do you know what the date is for that offhand?
Yeah, March 13th and 14th.
Okay, great.
It
sounds like registration is pretty much wrapped up.
Registration's pretty much done. The event is sold out.
Okay.
We're actually trying to, scrape together one emergency ticket. And so I'm not even sure we'll be able to do that. But
okay. So if you have kids that are going, March
13th and 14th.
Great. Mark your calendars for it.
It's a great event in Des Moines. Ton of time of worship.
You should know where your kids are going to be on those dates. Kind of thing. Yeah, there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Love it. Ministry updates. Let's go. We got kids. So let's talk about kids for a bit. We got Harvest Kids. We have a new check-in procedure. Let's talk about that a little bit.
That's been going great.
Yeah, so I've seen Lindsay and Catherine and their teams kind of working that on Sunday mornings. So let's go.
They've loved it. It's been super organized. The parents have really been helpful. Our kids have been helpful. As we get more and more kids all the time, we've got to be more and more organized. And so that process has allowed us to kind of be more organized and make sure that we're keeping the kids safe and, keeping a good eye on them. Steward and our young ones well. And so,
let's go.
That's been going great. We're working on continuing through, let's see, the Harvest Kids, not the Bible Builders. Harvest Kids is talking about, they're talking about why can we trust God? Right? I don't know. That's a great question for all of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
as adults.
That's a question as adults that we have to deal with regularly. And so, why can we trust God? And they're talking about how God always works for His glory.
That's right.
And
this is like fundamentals of spiritual formation that we're teaching our kids at like a young age, and this is important. And I'm excited that our volunteers are doing a really wonderful job. But as always, we always need more kids volunteers. So this is me again coming to you.
Please.
Like I feel like there's that old Bernie Sanders meme, like with him in the coat. It's like, once again, I'm coming to you. Right? And so I feel like that right now when I say this. Once again, we're coming and saying, hey, we need more kids volunteers. So if you're watching this and you've had kids or you've just have a desire to disciple the next generation of God's church, this is the time to step up, guys. Like if you're retired, I love that you get to go out on the boat and do all the things and go on vacation, do all the things, do that. But also you have a responsibility here in the house. So as your pastor, I'm going to be very blunt and just say, you have an opportunity to serve here that is not super heavy and not super involved on a daily basis for you to be able to help with. And this is an area of need, so consider getting more involved in helping with our kids' ministry here at Harvest. So you can talk to Pastor Terry about it, you can talk to Catherine about it, and they'd love to get you plugged in to help disciple the next generation of God's church. So consider that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like you're the one teaching. Sometimes we just need helpers.
That's right.
So we could use both, right?
That's right.
Even on Wednesday nights, we could still use somebody who would hang out in the lobby and just kind of keep an eye on the kids while we're at the two ends of the buildings doing stuff.
You have youth ministry happening and you have Bible Builders happening on a given night. You can have upwards of 100 people here on a Wednesday night with everything going on. So there's so much going on in our kids ministry and student ministries here at this church, and I love watching it and knowing what God's doing, but we need your help, so consider that.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Wrapping up with Bible Builders, I just wanted to say, again, the Cat Meyer's been doing a great job in leading their teams through that and their weekly rhythms, and just excited as we go into wrapping up this school year with Bible Builders. So moving into youth, though, let's continue to kind of talk through some of that. We're talking about the Hall of Faith in Hebrews 11.
Yep.
I heard Johnny Tank recently was able to jump in and help with some of the teaching, and I love that, man. Just kind of seeing him get involved with some more of leadership and youth ministry is really cool to watch. And again, more volunteers. Would love to have you involved. With groups, we have groups continuing to happen on Saturday mornings. We have men's ministry group that happens Saturdays, women's ministry group that happens on Saturday mornings. We also have La Torah Bible that is still continuing weekly. And then also, and I love this one, we have a prayer group that meets very early on Sunday mornings. Remind me of the time, it's 8:30, right?
Yeah. I love that you say very early, like with emphasis on very.
Well,
I'm not sure
to
everybody
most
would
people, it's early, right? I'm usually here by like 6:30 on a Sunday morning, so it's like it's not that early for me, but like for other folks on Sunday mornings, it's like I don't want to roll out of bed, but like, hey man, get out of bed, right? It's Sunday, go be in the house, like come gather with like God's people and let's pray. Again, Pastor just talked about it. We can all plead, we can all pray, we can all come together and worship, and also just have a conversation with the Lord about our church, about our community, about our government, and let's be intentional in that conversation together, right? And so 8:30, there's a prayer group that meets here at the church before service. So moving along with table songs, man, there's so much going on with that right now. We just got back, some of us from Nashville, last week. When we did our big kickoff in Nashville, we did some more recording things. We had a bunch of meetings as we've been kind of preparing for a lot of stuff coming up this year.
Yeah.
And then we also ran our very first camp of 2026 on the Saturday. It was great. We had over 30-something people registered to come out for it. And we wrote a bunch of songs, got to partner and encourage a bunch of worship leaders and songwriters in the Nashville area, and even had some of our team come out from different places like Arkansas and Alabama and New Orleans and Kansas City. So we had some of our folk come out to be a part of that particular camp because we were doing a lot of other things, not just the camp on that trip.
Right.
But man, it was just a really sweet time, really excited for what God's doing in that aspect of table songs. We are working on building tables currently in Kansas City and Jacksonville, Florida currently, that hopefully if the Lord continues to say yes, we'll see tables in both Jacksonville and Kansas City before the end of the year, or by the end of the year. That would be 3 tables running in 3 different cities around the country.
And just real quick, what is a table?
So a table is a monthly rhythm to serve and encourage worship leaders and songwriters. That includes meals, a time of worship and prayer, as well as a one-day songwriting camp. Where songwriters from that local area will come together and we'll facilitate a camp that includes, a workshop as well as breakouts for worship leaders and songwriters to be able to write together. Yep. And so that's what we call a table, and we're building tables. Right. We have one currently existing in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're working on building 2 more in 2026 in Jacksonville, Florida, and Kansas City. So still things that we're celebrating and excited about. And then we launched our worship leader cohort. For 2026 back on the 15th of January. Man, it was such a sweet kickoff. It's all virtual, but it's 10 months of virtual small groups and workshops for over 20 worship leaders around the country that are involved. Man, just excited that like this little church here in North Iowa gets to facilitate that kind of ministry that's impacting houses and countless people around the country already just through the cohort. And so as we invest in and grow with worship leaders, local church worship leaders, we're getting to invest in local churches around the country. And so we're getting to do that together for the next 10 months. That's going to culminate in an in-person event with the cohort in the fall of this year here in Clear Lake. And so super excited for that part of it. But man, God's just doing a lot right now. And there's so many other things that we could talk about that God is doing with Table around the country, and opportunities that we'll be able to share more as we go down the road. But just be praying for us as we continue to pour into worship leaders and songwriters in God's church, capital C Church around the U.S. So exciting stuff there. So as we continue to switch gears, because I know we're getting close to wrapping up our time, I do want to talk a little bit about the state of the church. I know you're in the middle of a sermon series talking about revival. Just talk to us a little bit about just kind of where things are at and what to expect as we're kind of working through the winter months here of 2026 at Harvest.
Yeah, well, as we talked about, the theme really is revival, and so at least for the first part of the year, so each series is kind of taken a part of revival, and so we started off the year with Awaken Us, right, where we're looking for some awareness, where we're asking that God would make us aware of where we are spiritually and in our relationship with Him, and awaken us spiritually, awaken us to a new spiritual vitality that leads us to a more obedient walk with Him and a loving walk with Him. And so my hope is that this year will be the best year for every one of you and me and us in our relationship with the Lord. And then, but as we walk through that, kind of how do we go through this process? And so our next series is called Return to Me. And so it's based off of God being so willing to provide revival at different points in scriptures where he's like, I want to revive you. And so, but his call to us is, so return to me. Right. And so,
That's a good word.
return to me, really, we could also just call it repentance. Right. That's really kind of one of those first steps. And so when we are going on a path that is taking us away from God's desire and will for our lives, the call is always to return to me. And again, that's what repentance is. We turn and we go back to him, right? And so that's an act really kind of every day with every choice that we make, that we're turning to the Lord. And so, so that's kind of our next step in our process of talking about revival for 2026, or at least the first part of it. So,
Love it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, what a call. What a compassionate call. Like, man, Lord, I'm going through this. I'm struggling with this. I feel dry. I don't feel like I'm that spiritually close to you. Return to me. But Lord, I'm struggling. I'm tired, and I'm having problems at work. Return to me.
Return to me. Wow.
As I've been doing, I just kind of hear it over and over again. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe I'm going a little crazy and loopy, and I'm hearing the wrong kind of way. No,
that's a good word.
Just that call over and over again. Well, return to me. Return to me. And how awesome is it that, he makes it available for us to return to him all the time, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor Terry, thank you for your time today. And again, just to our church family, we love you. We're so thankful to be on the journey with you. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, feel free to reach out to the office. We'd love to clarify anything for you. But then again, if there's a burden that maybe the Lord's been putting on your heart, or maybe you haven't even realized that it's there, there's opportunities to serve here in the house that can make a difference in the lives of many people that are like your generation and the next generation to come. So really consider about how are you stewarding your time, how are you stewarding your relationships, and how are you stewarding the work that God's given us here at Harvest Bible Chapel, North Iowa. And just we want to say thank you again just for being on the journey here in this house and being a part of what God's doing here in this house, as well as in our community here in Clear Lake. So with that, remember, as always, you are loved, and we'll see you in the next one.